single audits out. Last year was March, but everything's gonna get out sooner this year, so probably January, February, whenever the meeting is, we'll have our. February?
February meeting.
February, okay. So I think today it's just
You're here to answer questions today.
answer questions, and I think management is hoping the committee approves the, accepts. Oh, by the way, I'm John Crossland.
All right, well,
That's the-
I know you, as also the committee, received the MD&A about an hour before the meeting started. Have you had a chance to review that at all?
I have.
Do you have some comments about
I
it?
got it about 2 hours ago, and I went through it very quickly. I did not see anything in there that would hold me up. There's still some ticking and tying I'm gonna do, but everything in there is what I expected to see, and it looks like it's good to go.
Okay. As our external auditors, what grade would you give Metro government on their financial condition?
Their financial condition? That's an interesting question. Probably a good question. You don't mean just putting the,
A, B, C, D, or E, or F?
you mean, okay, financial condition.
Yeah.
I want to make sure, because, you know, a lot of our bond ratings evaluate our financial stability and things like that,
That's
so.
why I'm asking the question.
Okay, okay, I just wanted to make sure we were aligned in terms of that. Okay, thanks.
I mean, it looks really good to me, but definitely improving.
Under the financial highlights in the MD&A, the very first one talks about the unassigned fund balances of the general fund, which represents 14.5% of the general fund expenditures. What is our target for that?
Our target for that is 17% in the fund balance, and then we also created this year, as part of our fund balance policy approved by council, a budget sustainability. So in the FY26 budget ordinance that was approved by council, there is restoration of fund balance included in the budget for FY26, as well as the creation of the budget sustainability. The reason it drops is because of a timing issue, if you will. And Kevin, I don't know if you want to talk about that, because since I'm part of the committee,
Yeah,
maybe
I'll
it's
be
better
happy. I'll be
for-
happy to. Our fund
Will you
balance.
introduce
I'm
yourself?
Kevin Brown, Deputy Finance Director, and Division of Accounts is one of my areas that I work closely with. Our fund balance policy is 17% of the next year's budgeted expenditures. And as a result of last year, there was the reappraisal year, and then you adjust the certified tax rate. We did do a tax increase, so we're envisioning having increased property tax revenue this year as a result of the tax increase and the reappraisal. As such, we have significant expenditure growth. So that expenditure growth is really driving our fund balance requirement up, and we really need a year to catch up with the balances from the fund balance to take advantage of the increased revenue to roll to the coffers into our fund balance. So that's why we got the dip, but next year we should be significantly higher than the 17% along with the sustainability.
So you need the year to catch up, but by the time you get to that point and have caught up with that metric, are you going to be behind again because the expenses have gone up some more?
No, we're not envisioning being behind again probably until the next reappraisal year, where you have that increase in revenue again that would drive increased budgeted expenditures. So we should be in line with fund balance policy. This is also why we did the Sustainability Reserve Fund that gives us the ability to pull off of that to help prevent having this issue in the future.
So you would project that next year we will hit the 17%?
Yes.
That is the metric that we should be marching to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully more.
Yeah, I would envision probably more than 17, probably around the 18.
And sustainable at that point in time?
Yes. Assuming that, revenues come in as projected and expenses stay where.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Other questions?
what does that, do you know what that does to the sustainability reserves? I know we put those in at, I think, 4% for this year, but the minimum was 1%. Is that set in the budget?
It's set as part of the budget ordinance. The finance director has the ability to range it from 1 to 6. So during the budget process for fiscal '27, we will be evaluating that and the potential use, and if we need to reduce it, we will. If we need to increase it, we will be increasing it at that point.
Yeah, and since we're in live, we did 2% on the non-debt general funds. So, yeah, GSD, MMPS were both at 2, and.
I believe we did 4% on the USD.
Yeah, 4% I think was the debt funds and maybe USD fund.
That's just a very similar question on bullet point number 2, which is that we are at 14.7% on the general purpose school fund expenditures. What's our target there?
17%.
17, okay.
Yeah.
So how are we gonna recover on that piece?
We also, as part of the '26 budget process, included budget restoration as well as establishing the same budget sustainability reserve for the school fund as well.
All right, other questions?
Mr. Chairman, I've never seen this document before, so whose highlights are these?
Oh, those are the ones, we wrote it, I just have to update and review it before it's finalized.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's just the reviews I need to go through and make sure before.
It's, part of the formatting and the final tick and tie-in
Yeah.
that John mentioned.
Okay.
Some of them are page numbers too, so once you get, you know, she highlights it so she knows to go back and actually change the page number that the MDA is referencing through the 300 some odd page document, because, you know, as you lay it all out, sometimes page numbers flip or where you cut the page.
Exactly.
Do you anticipate any of the numbers changing as you continue to work through it?
Just one, cause
Yeah, there's
bullet
one number.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, bullet number 7, we have it as 0.9 million.
Yeah.
It should be 989 million.
Yeah.
That looked funny to me.
The percentage is correct, but it was my error. The spreadsheet we was working on was in thousandths. I didn't catch it, and I just was looking at 4 million and 5 million. So, but that's it. But we did catch it. We flagged it. The 18.6% is the correct percent increase. We'll update the number.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
Thank you. Could we get just like a brief summary of the document? I mean, we can go back and review it, but in light of, I believe this is the document we just got just a little bit before the meeting, so we haven't really had time to digest it. So could y'all give us just kind of a summary?
So the summary is, the first part is kind of talking about our high-level government-wide, which is our first section of the B section, which is our financial statements. That's where it includes our debt, the capital assets, things that are not up fund cash basis. And then there's another part which is called funds accounting, which is our cash basis, which is our general funds and other special revenue funds and like business type. So the first part is just giving a high level of both of those together. And then we go down, like the next part is the overview of the financial statements. It's just kind of telling you what each section is. Like we talk about the government-wide and what that is and what our fund statements are. And it gives a definition of each little section so you guys can understand it. The next section is really the government-wide financial analysis. So that is on page 3. And that is just comparing this year's to last year, which is most of this document is just a comparison between last year's and this year's, what we increased, what we decreased, why we did this, why we did that, kind of document. So what this one is talking about, B2 through B4. So the first one is assets, so your balance sheet, we're talking about the changes in the balance sheet compared to last year. And then we talk about the business type as well on that. And then page 5, I believe, is the revenues and expenditures for government-wide.
Can you summarize, give us just the summary of the financial highlights, like
Yep.
explanation of what each of those bullets means?
So on the first page,
Yeah.
So the first one, like we talked, that's
Well,
the.
we did the first two, but
Yeah.
started at bullet three.
The second one is the deferred outflows, which is, pensions, things that I always get these two backwards, outflows and inflows. Outflows is where we receive the revenue, no.
It's paid out, but belonging
we-
to a future period.
Yeah, so we haven't earned it yet. So it's revenues like we might have received from a grant, but we have not earned those revenues, so we have to defer it for future years. So we're just kinda talking about what those outflows would be. And then, so the most of it was pension, sadly, like that's, OPEB and pensions are our most, biggest numbers for inflows and outflows.
And the new, was the, new GASB impact?
That is debt. So we did have to do a new GASB, which hit our debt, which is the second to the last, so we issued new debt this year. In October, we issued, I think 2 new issuance and 1 refunding in October, and then we did another refunding and a water one in June. And then there was a new GASB 101, which was compensated absences, which added
It was about $33 million total across all funds.
all funds, so it was, we never accrued our comp abs before our sick time because we don't pay it out. So, but per GASB this year, we have to include it and we had to determine the best estimated amount that we would potentially pay out. So that increased our debt about 989 million this year. Between the issuance and GASB and pension. The enterprise funds, that increase was mainly because of water increased their fees. So they're largely, their increase in fund balance / net position was the increase in their rate. And then the commercial paper decreased, because we did issue bonds. Water had no commercial paper at the year end because we issued their new bonds in June. And then we had $200 million for GG because we reissued in October, which decreased the $400 and something million balance last year.
Can you explain the bullet point 3 with the net position versus the unrestricted net position?
Yeah, so net position is total, which is fixed assets. So these are things that we have bought on fixed assets that we depreciate over many years, depending, anywhere from 1 year to like 40 years. So we have that breakout, and then we have all restricted, which it could be pension, it could be, there's a lot of different ones. I don't think it's on this one. It's B3, there's, we break it out for restricted, so if that fund balance is restricted for education or restricted for some other use, we have to break it out. So the unrestricted is just everything else that equals the net position. The unrestricted is just the thing to make it total.
If I may add just a quick comment. So in the ACFR, as you flip through most of the schedules, there are no year-over-year comparisons. So just to kind of give a big picture of the MD&A, it's really an attempt to analyze the data in the ACFR, you know, two-year comparable. So if you think about like a private entity, you know, a private entity's financial statements always generally have a two-year comparison, so you can go down line by line, like on your balance sheet, and say, oh, cash was this year, it's this last year. The MD&A in kind of public entities, this is part of the two-year comparison. So that's why you'll have like these charts that show 24 to 25, and a lot of the analysis is about what happened year over year, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to kind of give a big picture. This is always a part, MD&A is always a part of an ACFR. It's in there every single year. It is part of your opinion, auditors, Crossland. You actually review this, you tick and tie that. I don't want to speak for you, so you want to talk a little bit about what you do with the MD&A? Do you mind? Just for education purposes.
Yeah. No, we'll go through this and we'll tick and tie every single number to the rest of the statements to make sure, because we do the same for the entire ACFR, and make sure it all flows, all the schedules work. And then we'll tie this into our work papers as well. So these numbers will be audited.
Do you actually opine on this or only on the financial statements? And you're making sure when you read this, to be sure it's consistent with the financial statements?
We make sure it's consistent, but
Go ahead, clarification.
unofficially, we do the same procedures here as we would anyway. I mean, we overkill it. Because to me, this is a really valuable piece of the ACFR.
Absolutely.
I mean, this
agree
is your
with
summary, this is your cheat sheet or your cliff notes. I mean, you can read this and you can get the opinions of management of, like you asked that great question of stability of the city. Read this and, so, yeah, we'll take it time.
Yeah. The other thing I want to point out really quick, if I may, Chair, this has a lot of government-wide information, and so that is full. We talked about this a little bit in executive session, but again, for the viewing audience, government-wide financials are full accrual accounting. So it's similar to a private entity, right, where we're doing full accruals for a pension liability or a post-retirement liability, the sick liabilities. When a budget is presented at council for approval, it is at the fund, FUND level, which is a modified accrual, which is very different than government-wide. So when we think modified accrual, it's similar to a cash basis. It's not exactly, but it is similar to a cash basis, so that when the budget is being approved for X department to spend X dollars, those are cash dollars in a way, kind of going out the door. But that is not equivalent of a government-wide financial. You take the government-wide financials and you add in all the accruals and do a lot of adjustments to get to government-wide financials. Y'all correct me if I say something incorrect.
So, for clarity, for me,
Yes,
on the page 3, the government's net position, is that on the accrual method?
That's government-wide, which is accrual.
Okay.
So when it says net position, that's full accrual, which is government-wide. If it says fund balance, that is modified, which is cash.
yes. So like the changes in net position, that is full accrual accounting as well. If you wanted to get to fund
Page 8.
accounting, it's,
Page 8.
So, Councilmember Porterville, the page 3, it might be a good place to get some comparison, if you want that, looking between 24 and 25, on basically what I think of from a business standpoint as a balance sheet.
that's right.
So,
That's exactly right.
you can see where your current assets are, growing, what your liabilities are doing, and that kind of thing on that one. So that may be helpful as well.
It may be helpful, if you don't mind explaining a little bit of difference between governmental activities as well as business activities.
Yeah, so your governmental activities, is your general funds, other governmental special revenue funds, and then it will take all those full accrual entries that we have to do as well. So you're adding your debt for the GSD and USD in schools, doing your comp abs, doing your fixed assets, adding all those into that balance. And then business type is our water, our DES, farmers, municipal, police impound,
Fairgrounds.
stormwater, fairgrounds, yeah.
Question?
Comment, just wanted to flag on, the very last page, it starts off with the long-term debt. The yellow highlight area, the sentence right above that, also has that .9
Yeah,
million, so
yeah.
we need to make sure that's
That's where we
changed.
pull it, because we highlight the 5, 6 bullet points at the front is highlighting everything else that we put in here, so, yeah, we
Gotcha.
have it flagged.
And it's a typo in there too,
Okay.
fiscal, it's misspelled. just catching it so that you, I know this is a draft, and I know that you all will pour over
see
it,
it
and it
now.
will be perfect before y'all
Compensated.
finalize it, but I just wanna make sure that y'all caught it.
I had to take my glasses off so I could see it.
I used to be a teacher, so I catch this quickly.
Compensated.
Yeah. The EN missing in that.
I was wondering about that one as well, compensated.
Compensated.
Ah,
Yeah.
thank you, okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of extra letters missing from that as well.
I did have one more question on, going back to, the one page before, under the general fund, budgetary highlights, there's an original and final budgeted amounts, and then there's a final budgeted and actual amounts. What's the difference in those two sections?
Your original and final is, your original is what you passed right before the fiscal year, so when you passed it in June, that's your original budget. And then the final is if you have any supplementals. So this last year, we only had general fund for $10 million. So that's the difference between original and final, and then it's the final versus your actual, expenditures. So then we compare those two.
Thank you, and then I just have one more question. On the, second page, right before the chart where it has the government-wide financial analysis, and can you tell us a little bit about that $2 billion number there? Right above the government's net position.
That is the total between government-wide, general government, and the business type. So we combine those two to get the $2 billion. So it's the same concept, we're just doing the fixed assets, and then we have all the restricted, and then it's your unrestricted, and that's the total of our net position is $2 billion.
Okay, thank you.
That's a great question. I struggled to try to prove that number too. Thank you.
Were you chair of budget and finance?
Twice, actually.
What work do you still have pending in order to finalize the report?
From an audit standpoint, we're about wrapped up. Right now, it's just making sure there's not, it says compensated instead of compensated. It's, and making sure that there aren't any numbers that are not tying. So we're in our proof of clerical stage.
At our last meeting, you expressed some concern around the hospital and maybe the consultant did not deliver like you had hoped that they would. Any further development there?
I think the hospital just had to roll up their sleeves and finish the job for them. If I can speak, I think KPMG, I think they let them down. And they've got a lot on them, and they had to roll up their sleeves and get it done.
But they have delivered what you need to,
I got the report right here,
okay?
so I'm doing
Any
the
comments
same.
you'd like to make on that?
I'd like to address that, and I'll try. Good afternoon. And thank you, Chair. I am Kimberly Blackridge, so I serve as the interim chief financial officer at Nashville General Hospital. And so I will share there was a miscommunication, and this was the inaugural time for all three of us, 3 or 4 parties to work together. So there was a miscommunication, and I own the miscommunication. At the end of the day, we re-engaged with KPMG. There was accountability. We delivered at the end of the day. And so we learned from that. The lesson learned is we have a few things in place to get us to trigger earlier. So there's always continuous improvement. I will share that in addition to the financial statements notes, there were a ton of other items that we had to resolve and had to put policies in place. I even brought a book. So these are things that we had to do internally that may have not had transparency towards them. So the accounting, the policies, a lot of other items that we had to address. So once we start pulling the layers back, just a lot more. It wasn't just that simple, let's get to this end state. But at the end of the day, we delivered, and we hope to continue to grow our relationship with Crossland and everyone in this room. we're committed to it, being good financial stewards.
Thank you for being here with us today. We very much
Okay,
appreciate
welcome.
that.
I did not introduce to you our interim CEO, Dr. Elders.
How are you?
Veronica Elders.
Veronica Elders.
Nice to have you here as well.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much for being here. It is no secret that I am a big fan of Metro General Hospital. That is where I go for all of my care, or the majority of my care is through Metro General. Metro General saved my life in 2022 when I spent 14 days in the hospital, and people asked me why, as a council member, I was going to General Hospital as opposed to some of the other hospitals in the area, since we are in the mecca of healthcare here in Nashville, to which I proudly tell people that the People's Hospital is good enough for all of us. So we all should be stewards and being able to use the hospital, and you all have always provided wonderful service. So I'm very excited about the work that you two have done and how y'all have led us and provided some stability, and thankful for the previous leadership, and also thankful for the current leadership, and just you all helping to steer the ship and get things going, and getting everybody rowing in the same direction. So thank you for all of that. My question was with the, and I understand it was maybe a little bit of a miscommunication, and I'm glad that you all stepped in to provide to pick up the pieces of the things that were still needed. Is there any, if we contracted with an entity and they did not quite fulfill the duties of the contract, do we have any recourse as far as maybe getting some of that money back, or do we have any plan to try to, what are they gonna do to make it right if they kind of?
You go right ahead.
Great question.
Great question.
So, number one, we had to re-engage with them, so they were held accountable. Number two, we finished under budget, so I think it's important to know that in being good financial stewards, and so companies also have pockets of dollars that I don't know if we have in the past, we're able to tap into as well. So we finished under budget. I think the project total was $1 million. We finished under budget for our number one, and then we were able to tap into some additional dollars that the organization had available for us. About $60,000.
KPMG
Yeah.
provided to us.
KPMG ran us some coins when they dropped
Correct.
off.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to know. Thank
You
you.
said it, we did.
All right,
but
thank you, I
yes,
appreciate
ma'am.
it.
So we are always going to have the best interest of the city, the committee as stakeholders. You know, we have an obligation here. We have an obligation to Crossland and our Metro teams. So just know that we're always going to make requests, hold individuals accountable. We have a very young accounting team, but at the same time, I'm excited when I say young and tenured to the organization,
Right.
not young in experience. But what that does for us is, this was our inaugural time together. And so those were lessons learned, took those back, and we have continuous improvement, and we will always do that.
Thank you. Even in your inaugural time together, and with 2 new leaders, and this being the first time that it's kind of happened in this way, you all still got the job done. So thank you. We appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say thanks to Dr. Elders and Dr. Blackledge. I think we've had a great partnership. I mean, and we have come light years in a really short amount of time. I mean, we didn't even approve the act for last year until,
Of February.
it was February. So I say that we've really come a long way in a short amount of time, and I know this group probably feels like they just finished the last ACFR and turned around and started this ACFR. And so we appreciate our working relationship. We have weekly calls. They keep us abreast of information, situations, what's going on, and it's been a great partnership. So really, thank you so much for everything. I know Metro Finance really appreciates you, so just want to say that. I do also want to shout out to the team, and really to Crossland too. This has been an extremely challenging year. We are doing a migration from Oracle R12 to Oracle Cloud. And so I know we got this late today, and that doesn't go unnoticed by us. And we apologize for that. I will say we will do a better job next year to make sure that the committee has the full ACFR, including MD&A and transmittal letter before, like during, so you can have time to review it. So apologies for that. There were some extenuating circumstances this year with the cloud. We're in critical phase checkoff for the cloud migration and making sure that we get that migration right. We're going live 1/1. Our HCM payroll is actually transitioning on 12/26. And so, as things maybe hit a little bit of a stumbling block on the Oracle Cloud side, those folks unfortunately had to put this down to address maybe a critical issue that was transpiring on the cloud side, and then we're able to kind of pick it back up. So, but I just want to say thanks, because I know y'all have put in hours upon hours and a lot of late nights and weekends, so. And again, much better, we're getting it done. I appreciate all of y'all trying to get it done by 12/31.
Very much appreciated. And to our external auditors as well.
We're appreciative of everybody.
Any other comments you would like to make?
Just ready to get all these reports issued this morning. But including the single audit. So we haven't mentioned the single audit. It's been a long time since we've been able to get that out in December. So we're also hoping to get that out this month.
We have on the agenda to a motion, whatever the motion needs to be, accept, not accept, defer, with the options that we have available to us. I have a question for legal as it relates to that. With the document still in progress, are there any limitations on what we can or cannot do? I mean, could we actually accept a document that is still in transition?
My understanding is that there are essentially like non-substantive edits that remain to be made, is that correct? So you could have a motion, would that be correct? So you could have a motion to accept, pending, the additional edits that will need to be made.
Okay.
And these sort of non-substantive edits.
Would that be the appropriate motion at that point in time?
I think that would be correct.
Or yes, or
Yeah.
you can accept it as is, accept this one, and then, right, is that, may I ask the finance director a question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I'm just wondering, if they accept this document, is that the document that Metro Finance needs accepted?
So what?
No, we're accepting that.
I mean, the ACFR, and with including this, yes,
So I will say our prior history has been acceptance of the ACFR.
right.
And at least in my short time I've been here as finance director, but as deputy, it was accepted knowing that there were still final non-substantive little changes, nits, page changes, spelling corrections, but that the numbers were materially correct, accurate, however. But that's my understanding is what we've done in the past, is we've accepted knowing that there's still some little ticks and ties, like y'all pointed, y'all found a few little things here, right, so.
As we have more time to digest the MD&A and the transmittal letter, if we have questions, where is it appropriate to direct those at that point in time?
Send them to me,
Okay.
and then I will coordinate with them and get you answers.
Does this need to be accepted today? My assumption is if we don't accept it today, then we would either have to have a special call meeting to accept it, because I would assume we don't want to wait till February 10th. So are we thinking that we kind of need to accept it today?
Ideally, it would be accepted today because we want to have this filed by 12/31 because it's a state requirement and we missed the deadline last year. It's all GFOA, I mean, it's GFOA, the state, and frankly, our bond rating are expecting us to have this done by 12/31. Like our
Do you
rating
want to
agencies.
expand on consequences if we don't?
I mean, it could result in a downgrade if we don't, and if we don't get it filed, published, and to the state by 12/31, it will have consequences.
And clarifying too, we're only accepting it. It's not saying that we're agreeing with it. We are only accepting the document today.
And again, I will turn to Metro Legal for that definition, but my understanding is it's not approval.
Right, that's what I meant. It's not an approval.
We are not
it's
the
just,
auditors.
Right.
It's truly accepting, and I will turn to Metro Legal for the actual definition of accept.
I'll make a motion that we accept it.
I want to hear your response first on that, if you don't mind.
I mean, the language is in your rules under financial statements, and I think you would just look at the plain meaning of accept. And,
Can you read what the rule says for the viewing audience?
under financial statements and your bylaws, to review final audit reports and accept or not accept the audit results.
Accept or not accept the audit results. Well, the audit results is really your opinion, which we haven't seen at all at this point in time. Are there going to be any surprises when we do?
No,
That you anticipate at this point in time?
no. No, it's gonna be unmodified.
All right, other questions?
I would like to renew my motion to accept.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
And as mentioned, if y'all do have questions, just send them to me and we'll make sure that they're ready.
Next point of visit, you're welcome to stay.
There's not much more.
If you want to go celebrate Christmas, I understand that too.
Thank you all for having us.
Thank you for being
Thank you so
here.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It is fine. Online stamp.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays.
Actually, I would like to hear that as well. Now that we have accepted it, what are the next steps in the process?
So the next steps in the process are, they will finish, Crossan will finish their work of finalizing, ticketing, tying, cleaning up. It will get in a final form, and once it's in a final form, it will be submitted to the state through an online state portal. And once it gets to the state, then the state will do their work. The comptroller's office has a local government group, that's not the official name, but they actually take the ACFR and all of the municipalities across the state. They will receive those, and then they actually have reviewers. So the reviewer will sit down, comb through the ACFR, review it, and actually will send comments every single year back to Metro. And then those comments have to be addressed in the ACFR, and we actually have to provide a response to the state. Our local independent external auditors review the letter from the state, and they also review the responses to the state and make sure that those have been addressed in the current ACFR. So there's kind of I'll call it a continual improvement cycle of the ACFR. It also will be submitted to GFOA. And we have for the last, I think it's 42 years, it's in your transmittal letter, 42 years, we have received the GFOA award for our ACFR, which means we comply with all the GFOA guidance, GASB, GAP. And they also have a reviewer who combs through the ACFR as well. And they also provide comments, and the team will have to respond to those comments and Crossland will actually review those comments and the responses back, and again, make sure those are addressed within the next year's ACFR. So it's continual process from the state, continual process from GFOA as well. And then, in addition to submitting it to GFOA and the state, they will also clean it up and post it on nashville.gov on the finance page, so that anyone can go out and click on the ACFR and comb through it and review it and see the final product.
The letter that comes from the state in your responses, is that a matter of public record?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So is that something that, as a committee, we should review at some point in time?
Yes, and we actually distribute that to council. So it's supposed to be shared with your governing body as well as the budget review. So the state will review our budget submission every year as well and provides comments. And we share the letters that the state sends. We send those to council office, and then council office will send those out to council members as well. So it is public, and happy to get that to, Lauren.
I think I'm copied on it, so I can
think you are.
distribute it whenever I get it as well.
Yeah, I think you are as the audit, chair of the audit. Not chair, but. Metropolitan Audit. Sorry about that. So the ACFR is looked at by many, many, many eyes. There is also all of the information in the ACFR. Anytime we do a official statement as part of a bond issue, all of the data that is in this document will actually get put into the official statement when we go to issue bonds. The rating agencies review this data ad nauseum. And that's where, then we'll have what's called rating calls. So they'll call and they'll ask questions about the ACFR. Similar to what you do, they will ask other questions about the financial health of the city and things like that. But it comes from information from the ACFR. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. It was a great question, and I think it's really good information for really everyone to have.
Administrative matters, 2026 proposed meeting schedule.
Yes, so in
You
your.
really wanted to put, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. No, so in your packet, you have the proposed meeting dates. They follow the same cadence as this year's, and in past years to make sure that we hit all of the requirements in the bylaws.
And you really wanted to put one on April 14th.
Oh, I didn't think about that for you.
What's April 14th?
He's a
Day before
CPA.
taxes.
It's the day before taxes.
Oh.
That's really funny.
Unless you want to move that one, I will not be attending that meeting.
We want you here because you're the chair.
Well, maybe so, maybe not. Don't we elect a new chair before then?
I was about to say, I think, when I was looking through this earlier, I think the election of chairman and vice chairman will actually move up to February. It's currently next to the April one. We'll move it up to February based on the discussion that we had at the last meeting, so that we can make sure we have a vice chair.
That's great.
And, I mean, we can move the April meeting if y'all would like. It would just be moved 2 weeks out because we have to avoid the next meeting of council.
So like the 28th?
It would be the 28th.
I would certainly be in favor of that, but that's obviously a selfish request on my part.
I could do the 28th.
Me too.
Okay. We can move that.
Are you free on the 28th?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
The only other piece of this is we typically have had meetings at 4 PM every day. If y'all would like to change that, that's another option. It's not necessarily set in the meeting plan, but if there is any discussion or decision to change it, but 4 PM has typically been our time.
Thoughts on that? I've been on, I think I'm on the committee now, this is my 6th year, so
Yay.
4 o'clock works well for me.
We show up when you tell us to.
So do I hear a motion to approve the schedule with,
I'm looking. I was trying to look for when GFOA conference is, because I may be out of town on June 30th. That's why I was pausing.
That's the only option for June because council has to approve the budget, which is why.
It's June 28th through July
I know,
1st.
I know. So it's okay. I mean, you'll probably have a quorum without me. I just will be out of town that day.
Okay. And in the event that we
As a
can't.
note.
So will I.
I was gonna say, in the event that we can't get a quorum, this is kind of, I mean, this can all change as well as, because typically the December dates, that would be in the event that there hopefully is nothing that impedes the ACFR. If there's anything that pushes it like it did last year, we might have to move those around. But this is just the preliminary one, so we can go on and at least publish the calendar for the committee.
Okay.
Other commentary? I move we accept the proposed meeting schedule with the change to the April meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Any considerations for future items? All right, well, with that, I declare the public meeting adjourned and wish everybody a very Merry Christmas.